Welcome to a Coffee Talk with P3 special presentation. From now until September 19th, the Coffee Talk with P3 podcast is highlighting many of the theater and arts nonprofits participating in the Long Beach Gives Annual Day of Giving. Let's listen in to hear more from today's special guest.
Hello everybody, my name is John Peterson. Welcome to another episode of Coffee Talk with P3. And today I am here with Mr. Kirk Jordan of the Art Theater in Long Beach. Welcome, Kirk.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So the Art Theater, anybody who's a Long Beach local or lives in Long Beach has probably seen the iconic marquee and storefront of that. But it's kind of just tucked away in this little... It's almost like a really long strip mall on 4th.
It is, yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people just walk by and go, oh, it's another theater. But the Art Theater is not just another theater.
It is not. It is the last remaining single-screen independent theater in Long Beach. It's 100 years old this year.
That's amazing.
In 2024. So we're having kind of a centennial celebration over the year. We do a lot of stuff at the local schools to mention people pass by. We have kids all the time pass by on 4th Fridays or something, they have the thing, and they go, what is this, you know? Well, come on inside and look, and they're like, wow, this is amazing, you know? So you're right, people know it's there, but they don't really know what it is and what it does.
That's crazy. Well, we're about to inform them, aren't we?
Great, absolutely.
So before we get into the meat and bones of the Art Theater, what is your position at the Art Theater?
So I am one of the board of directors. I was asked to be on the board of directors several years ago. And I'm also the treasurer in charge of the books, the money, and so.
That's always the fun part.
And you know, being a nonprofit, you know, it's a little bit different than being a for-profit. So
absolutely.
And I'm also involved in the day-to-day operations. We have weekly operational meetings that I attend and put my 2 cents in. So
okay, yeah. That's great. So before you came upon the Art Theater and were asked to be part of their board, what's your background? Where do you come from?
I've worn several hats in my life. So I grew up in South Dakota, of all places. I came here years ago to play music, which I did semi-successfully. And then I sort of, by accident, fell into teaching music in elementary schools in Los Angeles, which turned into a full-time teaching job back 30 years ago. And I just fell in love with 3rd graders and 4th graders and teaching them music and arts, and that became my career up until I just retired a few years ago. Oh, wow. And I had also played music around Long Beach. I played at 4th Street Vine. I had a weekly show there on 4th Street right down from the theater. So I made lots of friends in that neighborhood. And at one point, the theater people approached me and asked me to help them on the board. So I was glad to do it. You know.
That's great. So the arts are in your blood.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
great. You know, we've talked to a lot of people with other arts organizations throughout Long Beach, and a lot of people have a very similar background.
Yeah.
They've gotten to start in music or on stage, and then find their way up to being part of the decision-making team.
Yeah.
So,
I feel, you know, I feel very strongly that the arts have disappeared from kids' lives, unfortunately. Yeah. We all know the stories of cutbacks. When I was a teacher, you know, we would have music 5 days a week for the kids when I first started. Then it was 4, then it was 3, you know, and then the theater arts kind of disappeared. And I just believe that that was such a wrong-headed direction for education to take. You know? So I'm trying to get back. We do a lot of stuff with the local elementary schools in our neighborhood on 4th Street, field trips, and we support them with things. So I'm trying to get that back into the school systems too.
That's great. Yeah. And the Art Theater is a nonprofit 501c3, correct?
Yes, it is. It is. About 15 years ago, the theater was restored and back to its kind of original blueprints from the 30s. It was lost during the big earthquake of 1933.
Okay.
Long Beach had a lot of buildings destroyed, but then it was rebuilt in the early 2000s to those blueprints, and that's when it reopened as a nonprofit. So.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. So if someone were to walk into the Art Theater, what would they see? What would they experience?
Well, they'll see a beautiful old building, obviously. We've kept a lot of the glass block that was put in. If you look inside, there's a lot of Art Deco elements on the inside of the theater. There's a big kiosk in the old days where they actually used to sell the tickets right there in the lobby, or in the foyer, I guess you'd call it. And you just see people that really care about cinema, for one thing. We have a great staff, and they all love movies. So we're trying to get people out of their Netflix chairs and get back into the movie theaters, right?
Yes.
So a lot of movie theaters, not just us, are facing that challenge of, how do you get people out to do what I did when I was a kid, which is I went to movies every week,
Absolutely.
right? Or more than one.
There's
usually.
the free Saturday morning cartoons, and
we clearly had no Netflix back then. So that's what we're working on, is trying to kind of relearn, so to speak, how to go to the movies again.
And one wouldn't necessarily expect to see like Deadpool and Wolverine there.
No. We tried to show a lot of documentaries. We try to show so-called art films, festival films, because there's really no source. A lot of those films don't get distribution out of festivals, and we try to show as many of those as we can. We have shown, we did do the Barbieheimer thing a couple of years ago, which was successful for us, even though we were competing with the big multiplexes. So we'll occasionally show first-run films, but we like to keep it more educational and more interesting, classic cinema, so to speak.
That's great.
Yeah.
So for the people out there that may not know what an independent theater is, could you explain the difference between, say, if someone were to go to AMC or Regal Cinemas as opposed to an independent theater?
Yeah, well, the big difference is a lot of those chains are owned by the theaters or the studios themselves. So there's kind of a top-down distribution system, which we don't have, obviously. We deal with independent brokers on which films to get. We do deal with the studios too, like Paramount, Warner Brothers, and so to speak. But one of the difficulties we have is they require showing, say, a first-run film for 3 weeks, something like that. So that's difficult for us as a single-screen theater.
Sure.
So the first week will be great, and then the second week, then. Whereas a multiplex, they can do that because they have other screens that are opening other things, and they're constantly bringing more people in. So being a single-screen theater is our biggest challenge, probably, to doing that.
I can imagine, though, with that business model, if you will, it is really, it's a great opportunity for independent filmmakers and people who don't have the budgets of those big studios to come to a theater like yours and have a potential opportunity to have their film premiered and seen, outside of a festival, like you said. Right.
We do host several festivals. We host the Cambodia Town Festival every year, which is in Long Beach, Long Beach Group. The Q Film Festival. We've had several filmmakers come. We have one right now that's going to show their film, a short film, to be in the Oscar, to be nominated for an Oscar. You have to show it at a certain place.
Okay.
So we get a lot of requests like that from local filmmakers, to come in and, hey, can I screen my film? I want to qualify for an Oscar, or even if they don't, it's a good place to bring people in. We have a good relationship with Cal State Long Beach, their film department. So we're trying to get more of that this year, having their students come in and maybe even have classes in the theater or screen old films in the theaters. We're really proud of our educational output too, or outreach, that we not only show films, but we try to, as I said before, try to be more educational in our scope. Both little kids and university students.
Sure. So you mentioned that you do work with some of the local elementary schools. What type of work do you do with them as kind of your give back to the community?
Yeah. So the usual thing is just a general field trip. So we have one school that's literally two buildings down from us, right on the corner there. So they'll have a group of kids come in. I believe it's in their 4th grade year. It's kind of a California history, social studies curriculum. So we've tried to be part of that and let the kids know this is what theaters used to be like. This is what your grandparents, went to every week. We show them pictures of, there was a big organ in there. and have to explain to them there was no sound in the movies when this place opened 100 years ago.
Right.
So things like that. So it's the 20th century art form.
Mm-hmm.
So the 21st century kids now are not aware of what a movie theater even is. So we try to help them understand that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. So I can only imagine that similar to like live theater with stages, our ticket prices don't cover the cost of operations, as I would suppose that a movie theater, it would be a similar situation, especially an independent theater. Yeah. So how, outside of ticket sales, how do you guys operate?
Well, we have a big fundraiser every spring coinciding with the Oscars.
Oh, wow.
So we have our own red carpet party where we live stream the Oscars on the big screen in real time. And everybody wears their tuxes and has food and drink. We have our own red carpet and photo booth. And so that's a membership drive. Mm-hmm. So we have a big core of members that's been with us, many of them for many, many years. So we have yearly memberships, and those are our biggest financial supporters, is our members. And then we have contributions at our fundraiser for the Oscars too.
That's great. Yeah. And it's important to note as well that any donations to a 501c3 are tax deductible to the extent of the law.
Absolutely.
And so that's wonderful. People can get a kickback on that as individuals.
So myself and the other board members work for no money. We're just volunteers. Mm-hmm. We do have a core staff of great workers that just keep the doors open, make the popcorn, run the films. So that's basically our overhead cost. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to support them.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Do you guys also rely on, aside from the board, do you have like a group of volunteers?
We do. We have a handful of people that come in for our big events, like the Oscars thing. We have a big event coming up where we're doing silent films, and we have live musical scores that go along with the silent film.
Ooh,
we're doing Nosferatu for Halloween, which we do every year.
I saw that. Yeah. That's really cool.
Which is an amazing experience when you see that film and you see there's a dozen musicians there playing a live score. We have The Passion of Joan of Arc, which is one of the great silent films of all time from 1925. And we also have a live score with a chorus that's going to sing to this beautiful silent movie. So
wow.
Yeah, so we do use volunteers for special events like that, for crowd control and to sign up memberships and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. That's for those of you who have never seen a silent film with a live orchestra, or even when you've got they do it at the Hollywood Bowl all the time on a much grander scale, which is just a nightmare to even get there. But that where they'll have a live orchestra playing along with the film, but these are silent films, and to have that experience, there's nothing like live musicians or live singers to be there. You can hear it through whatever speakers you want, but you're not going to get that energy and that vibe. So it's definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. We do probably 4 to 5 of those a year, where we'll space them out maybe every 2 to 3 months, something like that. So they're always very popular.
Sure, yeah. And not a lot of places do that.
No. I'm sure we're the only one in Long Beach.
I think, for sure. Yeah. I've noticed. Well, I actually was one of those that popped into the theater one day, which is actually how I found out about you guys. Right after we had started our theater company in Long Beach, and I was just looking around and looking for venues and places to potentially rent out as theatrical space. So when I did walk into the art theater and kind of poked my head in and walked in the actual theater section, I noticed there was a little stage there.
Yes.
And I also noticed on your website this past week that you guys also do Rocky Horror Picture Show.
We do. Once a month on a Saturday night, we have a live cast that participates, and it's huge. So we have 200 plus people in there that sing along and dance along and everything. It's fantastic. Yeah,
that's so cool. Well, I am embarrassed to say that I have never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. They tried to get me to go in college 30 plus years ago, and I don't even remember what happened. I remember we were all dressed and ready to go to a showing of it. Didn't happen. And then about 3 years ago, a friend of mine was working as a volunteer for our theater company, and she started a Facebook page to get everyone to get me to go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I think now that I'm sitting here talking with you, if I don't go there in within a couple of months and see the show, somebody's just gonna get some bad karma out.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give you a phone call because I think it's it's once a month, so I'll give you the calendar and you can check it out.
That's great. So much fun. I've heard just so much fun things about that, and the cult following that it has.
It's unbelievable.
Is it the same troupe of actors?
We have our own troupe. We had one troupe several years ago, and they kind of dropped out. So now we have a whole new group of people. They call themselves Bit of Mustard, which is the inside joke with Frank Enfurter, right? So Bit of Mustard is the group. So it's huge fun. So
does everybody dress up?
Not everybody, but a good portion. The shadow cast, they call it, which kind of reenacts with the film, all dress up, obviously. And we have lots of people that come in every month. They've come every month for years.
That's great.
Yeah, amazing.
I will make it a point.
Yeah.
I give you my word on
Okay,
that.
thank you. I'm going to hold you to that.
So you guys have independent films, you show films with live musicians, you host film festivals, you go out to the local elementary schools and work educating people in film history and art history. And it's a beautiful space. What do you guys rent it out as well as like an event space?
We do. We have a lot of people that will come in to host a private party, for example. We've had people do marriage proposals there.
Oh wow!
We had one gentleman who rented the theater, and he told his fiancee they were going to show. I believe it was. I don't remember the film. I want to say When Harry Met Sally, but that might have been wrong. Because it was their favorite film together. And so he told her that they were going to go to the movie, that we were showing it. Well, it was all a story because no one was there. He'd rented the theater alone. He walks in with his fiancée, and there's no one else there. And they sit down, he proposes marriage to her, and then they watch the film together.
Oh my God, I just got goosebumps.
I know, it was amazing.
Wow, what a romantic story.
I'm trying to think of the film, because When Harry Met Sally would have been too long ago, but that was their film, and when he decided to pop the question, he did it in style. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we do have lots of small, we have rented out the space to theater groups, we have rented it out to businesses that want to hold a retreat or a staff meeting there, So it's a lot of fun to host different kinds of people.
Yeah. I bet you guys stay busy. That's
We
just
do.
a lot going on in one little space.
We do stay pretty busy for sure. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, are there any other programs or showcases or anything else that we haven't touched on that you might like to talk about the theater?
Well, as I mentioned, we are celebrating our 100th anniversary this year. So the theater was built in 1924 as the Carter Theater, it was called back then. And it opened on January 22nd, 2025, or 1925, excuse me. So what we're doing is we're building up a few events, like we're showing Purple Rain by Prince, et cetera, et cetera. So on January 22nd of 2025, which is exactly 100 years to the date after the theater opened, we're going to be showing the same exact silent film that showed there in 1925.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was hard to find a print of it, but that's going to be our kind of our centennial celebration. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so exciting. Wow. So if people wanted to see what movies are playing, what film festivals are going on, what events are happening, if they wanted to donate to the art theater or check out the membership opportunities, where would they go to do that?
So our website is arttheaterlongbeach.org, and theater is spelled the artistic way, which is R-E at the end instead of E-R, arttheaterlongbeach.org. And you can find all kinds of membership information there. Our calendar is there. We also have a beautiful printed calendar that you can, in the old days we used to magnetize them to our refrigerators so we knew what was playing. And people love that too. It's a big long calendar that lists all 30 days of what's in the month. So and memberships again are something that keeps us going. So we have hundreds and hundreds of members, but are always looking for more people that want to support the memberships. We have everything from a $75 a year membership for seniors or for students to a platinum membership, which is $500, but that gives you access to any movie, any day, anytime.
That's so inexpensive.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive.
Literally less than $10 a month. I mean, it's for the cost of a cup of Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a membership drive again with the Oscars every year, but we're always trying to solicit more members on the fourth Fridays in Retro Road that they have. We usually have a membership table where people will come and sign up and support.
Great.
So, yeah, trying to get the word out. As you mentioned earlier, people see that beautiful facade and the beautiful sign, but they don't really understand what's inside, so to speak.
Right.
So we're trying to get that out there.
That's great. Well, hopefully this interview will educate and enlighten some people as to what that is. So with all the fundraisers and all this coming up, we also have an event called Long Beach Gives that you guys are partaking in this year. Is this your first year at Long Beach Gives?
It is the first year.
Okay.
Yes. We've kind of didn't do it in the past for various reasons, mostly not knowing what it was. But this will be our first year with Long Beach Gives. So we're really looking forward to getting to know more people from that, having more people see us on the website and finding out more information by the theater. So yes, we're very excited about that.
It's the sixth year for this fundraising campaign, and for those that don't know what Long Beach Gives is, because half the battle in this world for nonprofits is just building awareness.
Right.
Long Beach Gives is a fundraising campaign that's very similar to Giving Tuesday, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, which is a full day where you have the opportunity to support a nonprofit organization of your choice. And you don't have to support just one. You can go to longbeachgives.org, to the website for the fundraising campaign, even today, even now, and you can look at all the organizations that are taking part in this amazing campaign. Right now, they said there's about 250, so they've grown since their first year, which there was only about 70 nonprofits that were part of Long Beach Gives. But you can go on the website and look up all these different organizations, see the whole list. There are 16 different causes that are partaking in that, everything from healthcare to working with the homeless to arts organizations, animal services, and you can filter it by cause, so you can look up arts organizations and the art theater. I'm guessing because it would be right near the top, so you shouldn't have any difficulty finding them.
Right.
But you can visit that page as well to find out more information about the art theater as well as their website. And the early giving for Long Beach Gives is September 12th. At that point, you can actually go online and donate to the art theater or the organization or organizations of your choice. You can always give to more than one, just dig a little deeper in those pockets. And then that fundraising campaign runs all the way through the 19th of September. That's the big day where the big push is to get everybody in Long Beach and surrounding areas and supporters of the nonprofit to donate for these causes. So we're excited to have you a part of it for the first year.
So happy to be here.
It's really an amazing thing to see all of our organizations come together, because we're all in this for the same reason. Absolutely. No matter what our cause, we are here to give back to the community, to spread the word of what our cause is and make a difference from the inside out, as it were.
Well said. Yes.
Thank you. That was right off the top of my head. Well, Kirk, thank you again for joining us today and sharing information about yourself and the Art Theater of Long Beach. And I look forward to seeing Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that the fundraiser that you have for the Oscars sounds really intriguing to me. That sounds like a fun event.
It's the biggest party of the year, if I may say so. So
that's
very
awesome.
fun.
Well, I'll be checking that out as well.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thanks so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode of Coffee Talk with P3, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao for now.
Long Beach Theater needs your support. We hope you will consider donating on Long Beach Gives Day to all the theater and arts nonprofits that are participating in Long Beach Gives on September 19th. If you could donate to all the nonprofits participating with Long Beach Gives, that would be awesome too. Remember to mark your calendar and pass this date and video on to your work colleagues, family, and friends. Please support the Long Beach nonprofit community on September 19th. Go, 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 Long Beach Gives Day!
Ba, 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 da, ba.
To learn more about the Coffee Talk with P3 podcast and the nonprofit theater behind this podcast, go to the P3 Theater Company website at www.p3theater.biz. That's P3theatre.biz. And if you are a theater and arts nonprofit that would like to be highlighted on a Coffee Talk with P3 podcast, or you know a nonprofit that should be highlighted, please email me, John Peterson, at john@p3theater.biz. That's Jon John at p3theater.biz. We would love to start a conversation with you and your nonprofit. Looking forward to enjoying another coffee and discussion with you in the future. Long Beach Theater needs your support. We hope you will consider donating on Long Beach Gives Day to all the theater and arts nonprofits that are participating in Long Beach Gives on September 19th. If you could donate to all the nonprofits participating with Long Beach Gives, that would be awesome too. Remember to mark your calendar and pass this date and video on to your work colleagues, family, and friends. Please support the Long Beach nonprofit community on September 19th. Go, 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 Long Beach Gives Day!